Hello guys, welcome back to our anime explainer. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 Origin Continent based on novel. So let's start. Flying Boats Front Hall. The space in the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm is incredibly stable. With my mastery of the space Great Tao, I feel unable to fly. Difu managed to stabilize his physical body and already began to sense the peculiarities of the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm. Emperor Qing smiled and said, "The Nine Rivers Sacred Realm has housed countless low-level primordial life forms, as well as powerhouses from countless worlds. You can imagine the might when battles erupt. The realm must be extremely stable to support such conflicts." Luo Feng nodded. The source world itself has power limitations to ensure the stability of the world. The Nine Rivers, like chains, lock down the entire world, likely also to stabilize it. Luo Feng somewhat understood the deeper significance of the Nine Rivers. Indeed, because the world is so stable, even reaching the half-primordial level in the space Great Tao only permits extreme distance spatial travels. Emperor Qing laughed. This flying boat can only travel slowly. Saw the Novelia.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. It's already quite fast, Luo Feng praised. His own 5 avatars each had unique talents, including those adept at fast travel, yet their fastest speed was only 30 to 40% of Emperor Qing's flying boat at this moment. An eye opened on Luo Feng's forehead. Exactly the secret technique, biomimetic eye of life and death. On the land of origin, he long studied the Star Tower and frequently used the Eye of Life and Death, deeply researching both. Most of Luo Feng's secret techniques were based on the deep secret patterns of the Star Tower. As for studying the Eye of Life and Death deep secret patterns to create secret techniques, there was only one named biomimetic Eye of Life and Death. Moreover, with time, this technique continued to undergo refinements. Thus, leveraging the biomimetic Eye of Life and Death on his forehead, Luo Feng's observational ability might not be able to escape the braided cage, but it was considered top-notch among divine emperors. Luo Feng noticed far in the distance, an ethereal light blue creature melding into the void, lurking afar. That ethereal creature was eyeing the incoming flying boat with hostility. "Brother Emperor Qing, be careful, there's a low-level primordial life form ambushing ahead," Luo Feng spoke up. Surprised, Emperor Qing glanced at Luo Feng and laughed. "Brother Luo He, your scouting ability is impressive. I walk the space Great Tao, and with the assistance of a secret treasure, I could barely detect that low-level primordial life form, the green smoke beast." The flying boat seemed to travel at normal speed, but when it got closer to the green smoke beast, it suddenly increased speed by 50 to 60%, quickly leaving the beast behind. The green smoke beast couldn't even keep up. "There aren't many low-level primordial lives that can surpass the speed of my flying boat," Emperor Qing stated. "However, our early travel is still relatively simple. It will be somewhat dangerous once we start crossing over the rivers." 2 days later, the flying boat fully merged with the void, as if it were part of the void itself, traveling over an immensely wide river, not knowing how many billions of kilometers wide. The Nine Rivers, observed within the infinite primordial space, were massive, sealing off the entire world. The true width of this river was terrifying. Even at the speed of the flying boat, it would take half a day. Luo Feng observed with his biomimetic Eye of Life and Death. "Brother Luo He, can you detect a few low-level primordial life forms?" Emperor Qing asked nearby. "I've detected 3, Luo Feng said, displaying a simple regional map in front of him. "There's a bird blending into the wind in the distant sky, and another cloud formation is also a low-level primordial life form. And here, on the water's surface, there's a creature lurking." "Impressive," Emperor Qing exclaimed. "I only discovered 2. Brother Luo He, your scouting method is somewhat more sophisticated than mine. Luo Feng sighed inwardly. If he brought the Eye of Life and Death, perhaps his scouting ability would have skyrocketed thousands of times. But such a secret treasure, even the infinite space treasure vault prohibits taking it outside the source world, as revealing it might attract some great horrors. Sigh. The flying boat cautiously traveled, fully integrated into the void, maintaining a sufficient distance from those low-level primordial life forms. Low-level primordial life forms mainly live within the 9 rivers, as only within the rivers is there enough energy to sustain life. Even if they leave the 9 rivers, they generally don't go too far, so they can quickly return to the rivers. Emperor Qing calmly watched the outside. These low-level primordial life forms merely lurking in the sky above the river are just trying their luck to see if they encounter any cultivators. Besides ones like us, who are merely traveling, hardly anyone crosses above the rivers, Emperor Qing laughed. And you can rest assured that these low-level primordial life forms trying their luck in the high spaces are generally weaker. The truly powerful low-level primordial life forms do not act unless necessary, and once they do, they generally venture deep into the areas where cultivators live, as this is how they hunt more effectively, Emperor Qing explained. How strong are the low-level primordial life forms? Emperor Ming asked from the side. Although we refer to them as low-level primordial life forms, they are still primordial life forms, Emperor Qing stated. They are naturally born beyond the confines, but due to their inability to fully tap into their potential, their strength is relatively weak. Low-level primordial life forms generally have the strength of the Divine Emperor stage. Emperor Qing looked at Emperor Ming. Even the weakest low-level primordial life forms are slightly stronger than you, Emperor Ming. Although they are less intelligent, their life force is extremely formidable, and their physical bodies are very strong. To kill the weakest low-level primordial life form, generally only an early stage of Divine Emperor the Enlightened stands a chance. An early stage of Divine Emperor the Enlightened, in terms of overall strength, matches the bloodline cultivators, who have reached the middle stage of Divine Emperor. In the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm, the fighting power of an early stage of Divine Emperor the Enlightened is considered a threshold. Reaching this threshold enables participation in some hunting battles, Emperor Qing said. Otherwise, no team would want to include you. Emperor Ming and Emperor Qing looked at each other. Luo Feng felt the pressure upon hearing this. The 8 branches fusion technique of the Tao of Life and Death could only be considered as reaching the threshold of the early stage of Divine Emperor. The ultimate technique of the Tao of Life and Death is the standard move for the early stage of Divine Emperor. Moreover, any technique wielded casually by an early stage Divine Emperor, who has comprehended the Tao, is of the early stage Divine Emperor level. Their techniques are exquisite, and even some forbidden moves and ultimate moves can reach the power of the middle stage of Divine Emperor. Fortunately, I still have 5 avatars, each of which is an early stage Divine Emperor life form, and each with its unique talent. The 5 combined should be able to compare with an early stage Divine Emperor who has comprehended the Tao. I am still too weak, in case I don't even qualify to join the hunting team. Luo Feng felt somewhat uneasy. Without the Eye of Life and Death and the Star Tower, my strength has indeed diminished a lot. Whoosh! In the vast area above the river, the flying boat merged into the void and flew cautiously, maintaining a safe distance from the low-level primordial life forms. On the way, only one low-level primordial life managed to probe the reality of the flying boat, which quickly shook it off with its speed. The Holy Mountain is at the center of the entire 9 Rivers Sacred Realm, so traveling from the center to Yulon City requires crossing 2 rivers. During this process, Luo Feng also witnessed the strength of Emperor Qing. Emperor Qing maneuvered the flying boat, displaying his mastery of spatial pathways, far surpassing Luo Feng's ultimate realm secret technique of the Tao of Life and Death. Brother Emperor Qing, have you reached the middle stage of Divine Emperor? Luo Feng inquired through telepathy, intending to become partners. he naturally wanted to know the strength of the other party. If the gap is too significant, there is no need to form an alliance. Middle stage Divine Emperor, who has comprehended the Tao, there is no such thing as easy, Emperor Qing replied telepathically. I became an early stage Divine Emperor in the land of origin, and when I came to the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, although there were more opportunities that helped me progress further, I only managed to step 1 foot into the middle stage of Divine Emperor. I've comprehended some middle stage Divine Emperor secret techniques. To fully become a middle stage Divine Emperor, who has comprehended the Tao, I'm afraid it will take a long time. Luo Feng understood. Emperor Qing has comprehended some middle stage Divine Emperor level secret techniques. With the help of secret treasures, he can exert even greater strength. My current strength has quite a gap compared to that of Emperor Qing. When we get to Yulon City, we won't rush to hunt. Emperor Qing smiled at Luo Feng. First, we'll strengthen ourselves using the resources of Yulon City, buying suitable resources, selecting the right secret treasures, and only after everything is fully prepared will we set out to hunt. The two of them conversed telepathically, deliberately avoiding Emperor Ming and Emperor Fu. We're almost there. Emperor Qing looked ahead, Yulon City. As soon as he spoke, the flying boat cut through the air, and a vast city emerged in the distance. Luo Feng, Emperor Ming, and Emperor Fu all looked on carefully. It was a massive city resembling a fortress, and above the city were numerous colorful formations operating, layer upon layer of protection, securing Yulon City tightly. What a terrifying formation! Luo Feng sensed from afar, feeling its immense and unshakable depth. There are 35 cities in Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, all of which were built at a great cost. These protective measures also represent different cultivation systems. Various systems are protecting this city. Emperor Qing shook his head slightly, but low-level primordial life forms are like creatures that escape the braided cage. Some of them have 2 special talents. Even if we protect with a multitude of different system measures, we still cannot defend against all low-level primordial life forms. Occasionally, some low-level primordial life will infiltrate Yulon City and attack cultivators inside, Emperor Qing said. Emperor Fu and Emperor Ming listened with solemn expressions. Low-level primordial life capable of infiltrating Yulon City are 1 in 10,000, all of which are extremely rare, said Emperor Qing, and the flying boat already headed straight toward a towering gate of Yulon City. Buzz. As the flying boat approached the gate, a wave descended upon it. A vague silhouette of a man in a blue robe with a large beard materialized inside the flying boat. He looked at Luo Feng and his 2 companions, then smiled at Emperor Qing. Emperor Qing, you've brought 3 companions. And also several dozen new cultivators. Emperor Qing smiled and nodded. The rules are the same in all 35 cities of the Nine Rivers Sacred Realm, the man in the blue robe with the large beard said with a smile. 1. After entering the city, you must lease a cave mansion within 3 days, otherwise, you will be expelled from the city. 2. The city protects all cultivators, and each cultivator must pay a residence fee of 1 primordial crystal every epoch. If one falls behind by 1 epoch, they will likewise be expelled from the city. 3. It is forbidden for cultivators to kill each other within the city, and violators will be executed. As this is your first time entering the city, we need to record the identities of the 3 of you. The man in the blue robe with a large beard looked at Luo Feng and his 2 companions. My name is Luo Feng said with a smile. Emperor Qing and the others also knew that Luo Feng had multiple names, like Galaxy, Luo He, Luo Feng. See a thoverfire.net website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. My name is Emperor Ming. My name is Di Fu. The man in the blue robe with the large beard simultaneously divided his thoughts, also recording the information of the other cultivators in the rear cabin of the flying boat. These three will stay in my cave mansion, Emperor Qing said with a smile. As for the residence fees, I will prepay for 100 epochs on their behalf. Saying this, Emperor Qing handed over 300 primordial crystals. The man in the blue robe with the large beard nodded with a smile. Good, Luo Feng, Emperor Ming, Di Fu, the address for you will be the cave mansion where you reside. Soon, all the cultivators completed the procedures for entering the city, and Emperor Qing temporarily withdrew the flying boat. Whoosh! Emperor Qing led Luo Feng and his two companions flying through the city. So many cultivators. Luo Feng was quite shocked, seeing countless cave mansions at a glance, with cultivators frequently taking flight, and spotting millions of cultivators with differing attires and auras, obviously from many cultivation sects. I'm already the weakest, Di Fu looked around with mixed feelings. Why don't some emperors, monarchs want to venture outside? Why do they want to delay until their homeland is about to perish? Because they know that outside, they belong to the very bottom tier. In the dark sacred realm, even the ancestors of two nations are inconspicuous and ordinary. Regarding those so-called three rules, the last one, which prohibits killing each other, violators will be put to death. Emperor Qing looked down at the vast city below and said indifferently, "Don't trust this rule too much. Yulon City is autonomous among cultivators. To punish someone, you first need sufficient evidence. And with various cultivation systems and some killing methods being mysterious and unpredictable, it's impossible to find out who the true perpetrator is," Emperor Qing said. Luo Feng nodded. For example, he could send an avatar to attack and kill enemies while being formless and intangible. If the true perpetrator cannot be found, the matter will naturally be forgotten. Emperor Qing looked at Di Fu and Emperor Ming. The safest method for you two with weaker strength in Yulon City is to make yourselves look sufficiently poor. Poor? Di Fu and Emperor Ming pondered thoughtfully. Rules are there. Without enough temptation, no one will risk making a move, Emperor Qing said. You who are weaker, once you show off treasures, death won't be far away. On the contrary, if you are poor enough, you will be safe enough. You need to get used to this as quickly as possible. Di Fu and Emperor Ming nodded slightly. During the conversation, Emperor Qing, Luo Feng, Di Fu, and Emperor Ming had already flown to the inner city area of Yulon City. My cave mansion is just ahead, Emperor Qing said indifferently. I will grant you two a little energy authority in the cave mansion, enough to sustain slower cultivation. The rest of the energy authority, Luo He and I each have half. Di Fu and Emperor Ming obediently listened. It was already very good that they could stay and receive a little energy authority. Brother Luo He, Emperor Qing looked at Luo Feng. The residence fee for each epoch to stay in this cave mansion is 100 primordial crystals. I will bear the cost for the previous 1,000 epochs. After that, we two will need to split it. Of course, you can also choose to rent another cave mansion. The cave mansion that Emperor Qing rented was located in the inner city of Yulon City, which looked ordinary from the outside, but once inside, the space was enlarged by more than 10,000 times. Luo Feng and the other three walked in together. I'll divide the space first, said Emperor Qing, as the massive interior space naturally split into sections, with two small spaces at the corners, a common courtyard in the middle, and the remaining space split into two equal halves. You can decide how to build the interior space yourselves, Emperor Qing instructed. I choose the left side. Then I'll take the right side. Emperor Ming and Di Fu, without any objections, actively chose the two corner spaces. Without any cost and being able to follow Emperor Qing and Brother Luo He, they had their protection. What more could they hope for? They clearly understood that without Emperor Qing and Brother Luo He, their survival in the city would be much more difficult, by hundreds or thousands of times. I will send you detailed intelligence on Yulon City for your perusal, said Emperor Qing, as he walked towards his part of the space alone. Emperor Ming, Di Fu, and Luo Feng each entered their own spaces. The place is not bad. Emperor Ming sensed the speed of energy absorption. This absorption rate can reach 30% of my maximum speed. Not bad. I'm stuck at a bottleneck in strength anyway, and my requirements for energy are quite low. Generally, maximal energy absorption occurs during rapid growth periods. Once the limit is reached, only a minimal amount of energy is absorbed to sustain life. The space is quite large. Luo Feng looked around the spacious area, and with a thought, energy began to converge and formed various palace buildings such as wine pavilions, quiet rooms, guest halls, and more. He then stepped to the highest part of the pavilion, happily took out a pot of wine, and while drinking, studied the intelligence on Yulon City. Yulon City is autonomously governed by cultivators. Yulon City is ruled by the Elder Hall, which currently has 3 Hall Masters and 327 Elders. Once you reach either the late-stage Divine Emperor Enlightened One, or half-primordial level combat power, you can apply to become an Elder. If you can partly drive Yulon City's defense system, you can become an Elder. If the driving extent is very high, you can even become a Hall Master. Luo Feng looked at the intelligence. See a novel_fire.et website on Google to access chapters of novels early and in the highest quality. Every Elder needs to enhance the defensive capabilities of Yulon City. The Elder Hall is really making contributions. Luo Feng observed the details closely. Once one becomes a member of the Elder Hall, they need to reside permanently within Yulon City. This ensures the city's defense. They cannot leave Yulon City. And those who can become members of the Elder Hall are strong enough to venture into the dark sacred realm. Every half-primordial powerhouse certainly aspires to break out of the braided cage, and only in the dark sacred realm can they find more opportunities to do so. Yet, members of the Elder Hall usually stay in the 9 Rivers sacred realm, and do not step out of Yulon City at all. So, those who can become members of the Elder Hall typically have avatars. They merely leave one avatar here. Their other avatars have already gone to the dark sacred realm, Luo Feng speculated. Having an avatar itself implies that the core rulers of Yulon City, the Elder Hall members, are probably all from the source world. Luo Feng deduced a lot of information. The strong from the myriad worlds, who lack avatars, and have sufficient strength, are not willing to stay in the 9 Rivers sacred realm all the time. Living in Yulon City, cultivators need 1 primordial crystal every epoch. They also need a residence. All places of residence in the city can only be rented, Luo Feng understood. These fees are the official income of Yulon City. They need to support a group of law enforcement cultivators. They need to maintain the city's defense system. The leftovers are then distributed among the 3 Hall Masters and 327 Elders. This income must be very substantial to attract these powerful beings to keep their avatars here for a long time. Inside Yulon City, below Divine Emperor level is mainstream, amounting to hundreds of millions. Divine Emperor level, there are several million. Luo Feng looked at the intelligence. Among the Enlightened One lineage, those who can perceive a complete Great Tao generally don't find it difficult to become a Divine Emperor. But those who rely on their bloodline, while they might seem to grow easily, their growth's limit depends on their bloodline. If the bloodline isn't strong enough, they might always be stuck at the ultimate level of a godly king. Yulon City has intelligence organizations selling all the Divine Emperor's information. This intelligence costs 10,000 primordial crystals. Luo Feng was alarmed, he could not afford it. Moreover, the intelligence collected about these Divine Emperors might not be fully comprehensive. For example, since Luo Feng had just arrived in Yulon City, naturally, there was no detailed intelligence on him externally. Brother Luo He, Emperor Qing's voice came from afar. He approached the entrance of Luo Feng's space. Brother Emperor Qing, Luo Feng immediately opened the entrance. The intelligence on all divine emperors in Yulon city, quite expensive, isn't it? Emperor Qing came over and smiled, but even this can only gather information on about 90% of the divine emperors at most. Because there are some who quietly break through as divine emperors, and if they don't reveal themselves, it's difficult to learn their information. Even the information being sold only records what can be detected. Many divine emperors have hidden methods, Emperor Qing said, but no matter what, you might not need to buy it in the short term. However, over time, it's better to purchase a copy. Buying a copy of the intelligence lets you know about all the formidable existences hidden in Yulon city. It lets you know who not to provoke, Emperor Qing explained. Luo Feng understood. This intelligence is expensive and also contains a secret heart spell, prohibiting its dissemination, said Emperor Qing, so I cannot pass it to you. Luo Feng understood that gathering information on all the divine emperors in the entire city was no easy feat. If they sold merely a few copies, it would spread throughout the city. That would be a huge loss for the intelligence organization. Yulon city has abundant commercial and trade resources, Emperor Qing stated. Here, primordial crystals are needed everywhere. I'll lend you 100,000 primordial crystals for now. You can pay me back after our hunt, said Emperor Qing, as he waved his hand, causing a pile of 100,000 primordial crystals to fall beside him, glittering like brilliant crystal jade. Seeing this, Luo Feng was truly moved. Allowing him to stay in the cave mansion for free, even allocating half of the space to him. If one were to calculate the price, half the rental cost for 1,000 epochs would also be 50,000 primordial crystals. It felt like a gift. And now lending him so much. Just arriving in Yulon city, he was indeed at his poorest time. Emperor Qing, thank you, Luo Feng said without much ado. We just arrived in the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm. We're all in our greatest need of primordial crystals at this time. With primordial crystals, we can buy enough resources to strengthen ourselves, Emperor Qing said with a smile. Remember, when you go out to buy resources, Emperor Qing suddenly said earnestly, carry fewer primordial crystals with you each time. In Yulon city, with enough temptation, murder, robbery, theft, all sorts of things can happen. Even if you have life-saving means, but if the treasures are robbed, the loss is still substantial. I understand, Luo Feng nodded. Emperor Qing's intelligence already included detailed records. Murders and robberies occurred occasionally, while thefts and scams, since they didn't involve life-threatening situations and official punishments weren't too severe, were even more common. Carrying less means even if you are robbed, it's just like paying tuition, Emperor Qing sighed. The methods of theft in Yulon city are diverse and include tricks from various cultivation systems, many of which you have never seen before. Luo Feng nodded slightly. Only after familiarizing himself with the intelligence did Luo Feng leave the cave mansion alone to explore Yulon city, which he would be inhabiting for uncountable years to come. Heeding Emperor Qing's advice, he was very cautious and only carried 5,000 primordial crystals with him. With all 5 of my avatars complete, I don't believe I can't protect these 5,000 primordial crystals. Luo Feng tread carefully, not bringing any other secret treasures. The most valuable thing he had was the 5,000 primordial crystals. For this journey to the 9 Rivers Sacred Realm, Luo Feng had energy reserves worth 1,200 times that of a perfect divine body. The energy reserves left in the land of origin were minimal, but back home he was already invincible, and the avatar energies were sufficient. The 1,200 times perfect divine body energy reserve, Luo Feng's 5 avatars collectively had 200 times perfect divine body reserves, enabling him to reach his limits under normal conditions. The moment Luo Feng left the cave mansion, Various colorful protective systems enveloped the entire Yulon city, controlled by 3 hall masters and 327 elders of the Elder Hall. Invisible and colorless fluctuations regularly swept across the city, and at this moment, swept past Luophong, too. In the core area of the inner city, there lay a huge cave mansion. Deep inside the cave mansion, a figure bathed in light sat there, his entire body seemingly forged from light, expressionless. A red diamond-shaped gem was positioned between his brows. Inside the diamond gem, massive amounts of information were being rapidly processed. Information about all the divine emperors throughout the city was being collected. New member entering the city, Luophong. Residence, 99179 Cave Mansion, Tianshui District, Inner City of Yulon City. Strength, suspected early stage of Divine Emperor. He shares a cave mansion with Emperor Qing, suspected to be from the same source world. Information about Luophong was among it. While this information was collected, it was also relayed to another mysterious entity. Inside a huge cave mansion in the inner city area of Yulon City, a massive spherical organism occupied the space. The surface of the spherical organism occasionally showed faces that were either howling, sleeping, filled with hatred, or laughing, and the surface also featured numerous holes. Countless holes, through which figures came and went. Luophong, a new divine emperor in the city. Living with Emperor Qing, he must not be poor. Let this newcomer feel the customs of Yulon City. He likely follows the most common system of the enlightened. We can let him experience the power of other systems. Mo Yada, this is up to you. A command was quickly issued. Huff. A short figure flew out from the numerous holes of the spherical organism. New divine emperor at the early stage. The short figure chuckled weirdly, and at that moment, their organization had already locked onto Luophong, who couldn't hide anywhere in the public areas of the city. Huff, the short figure went straight for Luophong's location. This video will end here.